Hello, my name is Reza. I'm on the board of directors for the Museum of the American Indian in Marin, and today I'd like to share a story with you, a story about the creation of the earth. And the story comes from the Maidu people. And there's a few sources that I'd like to credit, and the first is the Machupta Indian tribe of Chico, California. And I'd also like to give credit to the First Peoples website too. They've got some great stories, and also I'd like to also let you know that I've also given some creative license and kind of melded some of the story together to give a little bit of cohesion. And I really hope to do the Maidu people that I know justice in the story, and I hope that those that I don't also enjoy the story. And so this story of Machupta is a village. Machupta was a village about 3.5 miles south of current downtown Chico. And the story actually takes place about 2.5 miles south of Machupta in a place called Tadoico. And Tadoico was known because it had a flat, sort of a beveled, a concave area dug out in the earth. And it was in the early 20th century. The area was filled in. It was flattened for agriculture, but the area is still there, like the Maidu people, and the story still here, still strong. And I want to start with the story, and the story starts in the beginning. In the beginning, there was no sun, there was no moon, there were no stars, there was nothing but darkness and water. Darkness and water everywhere. And in the water, there was a stream, a current that ran from the north to the south. And on that stream of water, there was a raft made of tule reeds. And on that raft, a man named Kodo Yampe sat. He didn't know how he'd come to be. All he knew is that he was floating on a raft in the darkness. And he could feel the reeds, he could feel the current. And he sat there for days and weeks and months. And he sat there and he got very, very lonely. And he wished for a friend. He wished, he hoped, and he prayed for a friend. And all of a sudden he heard a splash and a thud right on the front of the raft. And he called out, "Hey brother, who is that? Who are you?" And a voice came back, said, "Hey, I'm Turtle. Who are you? Who are you?" And they exchanged, their information about how they were, how they had both been in this current, in the darkness and floating, and they became friends. They really connected. And after a while, they got bored with each other, and they thought, wow, it'd be nice to have some light around here. It'd be nice to have some light. And so they wished, and they hoped, and they prayed for light. And they wished, and they hoped, and they prayed. And all of a sudden, out of the sky, there was light. And their eyes were just, it was like when you wake up in the morning so blinded they could barely see. But as their eyes came into focus and they got more used to it, they looked up and they could see that brightness was the face of Helen Made, the face bright like the sun. And as they looked a little bit more, they could see that there was a rope that had white feathers. And the white feathers on the rope were just floating, 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 floating. And they watched as that feathered rope landed right in the front of the raft. And then it got tight. And they realized that it was attached to Helen Made. As he descended all the way down, they watched him descend onto the front of the raft. And he sat right there, arms crossed, just like this. And Turtle said, "Hey, brother, what's your story?" And Kodo Yampe said, yeah. Where do you come from? Helen Made said nothing, just sat there. He said, "Yeah, brother, where do you come from?" And Helen Made just shot his finger into the air. And they both realized, Turtle said, "Yeah, we're not going to get a whole lot from him." And so they thought, well, he's a powerful person. Maybe he could make some earth for us. Maybe we could get off this raft. And so they asked, can you make earth for us? And Helen Made said yes. And so they thought, okay, what do we need to do? And he said, "I need earth." They looked around and there was nothing but water. All they had ever known was just water. And they said, where are we going to get the earth? And Helen Made pointed down. And Turtle thought, I can swim, I can hold my breath, I can do this, I can go down and get it. And so Turtle went, and he dove off the raft, and he dove down deep, and he went, and he was gone for a day, he was gone for 2 days, he was gone for 3 days, and he came back up on the raft, and he jumped up onto the raft, and Kotoyampe said, all right, show me the earth. And Turtle said, I couldn't do it, I ran out of breath. And Kotoyampe said, well, you did your best. You did your best. And Turtle said, no, I can do better than that. I know I can do better. I can go deeper. And Kotoyampe had an idea. He said, wait, how about if I use this rope and I attach this to your leg? And when you dive down, and when you get to the bottom, you get to the earth, and I can pull you up, and that way you can save your energy. And Turtle said, that's a great idea. I like that. And so they did it. And Turtle went, and he dove, and he was gone. This time he was gone for 3 days, 4 days. He was gone for a week. And he was gone the second week. And Kotoyampe thought, oh man, my friend, something happened to him. And he said, something's not right. And he said, but I trust Turtle. I know he would pull up if there was something wrong. And so he let it go. And on that third week, he thought, oh, I trust my friend, but I really want him back. And so he was losing faith, almost losing faith, and he was looking at the rope. And just as he was about to lose faith in Turtle, he wanted to pull him up. He saw the rope, and it tugged. He thought, oh my gosh! And so he started pulling up the rope, 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 and the rope wound higher and higher and higher and higher. And the rope got so high, and as he pulled up, he could just pull up, and there was no life. He looked down, and he went, oh, Turtle. And he pulled him off the raft, and Turtle was white like a sheet, just no color whatsoever. And he looked at him, and he looked, and he thought, oh my gosh, he's still breathing. And he looked a little closer, and he looked under Turtle's fingernails. And what did he see? There was earth underneath his fingernails. Oh my gosh. So he grabbed a piece of the reed, and he started underneath the fingernails, getting all of the earth out. And by this time, Turtle started to get some of his color back, his green color, and he pulled out. And by this time, Kotoyampe had a full ball of earth, just like that. And he showed it to Turtle, and Turtle smiled, and they both smiled at each other. And he walked over so proudly, and he dropped that ball of earth into Helen My Day's hand. Helen My Day dropped right into his palm. Helen My Day just looked at it, concentrated, turned his head, nothing happened. Oh, Turtle and Kotoyampe couldn't believe nothing happened. Nothing happened to the earth. Again, Helen My Day concentrated, closed his eyes. He turned his head, and this time breathed even deeper. And this time, the ball of earth started to grow from this little tiny ball until it filled the palm of his hand. And Turtle and Kotoyampe looked at each other, and they smiled, their mouths just wide open. And they looked, and there was Helen My Day stood up this time. And he looked at the ball of earth in his hand, closed his eyes, he concentrated, he turned his head. And this time, the ball of earth filled his hand, and it started to grow, and Helen My Day grabbed it with both hands in his arms, and his shoulders were straining under the weight. It was like the size of a bowling ball, and he held it with both hands. And this time he closed his eyes, he turned his head, breathed even deeper. The ball of earth just cracked, and it swelled. It started to split in between his fingers, and it just dropped, and he threw it to the side of the raft, and it splashed into the water. And all of a sudden, the water started to rise and rise and rise and rise, and the water started to sheet away. The earth began to rise. It felt like the earth was rising, but the water was just going away. And the earth felt like it was rising and rising and rising all around. They could see off in the distance, they could see creeks, they could see streams, they could see the ocean way in the distance. And all of a sudden, just they were sitting on this top of this earth, and they were looking around, and they were just eyes wide open like saucers, and their mouths wide open. And all of a sudden, Kotoyampe snapped out of it, and he said, wait, I don't want this to float away. I don't want this raft to float away. And so he grabbed the rope and he ran to the north and he tied it off. And he ran to the east and he tied it off. He ran to the south and he tied it off. And he ran to the west and he tied off the earth. He came back and they celebrated. That's how the earth was created. And that spot where that boat was, that's the place called Tadawiko. I hope you enjoyed the story, and please feel free to share with friends and family, and also like and subscribe on our YouTube page.